Could the Arizona Coyotes be kicked out of Glendale earlier than we thought? The city has delivered an ultimatum to them that they must take care of before sooner than the end of this month, or else some bad things will be happening. We'll talk all about that on today's episode of Locked On Coyotes.
You're Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Okay, welcome to the show, everyone. I'm Robyn, Leaño, Carl Pavlock right beside me. Before we get any further on this Locked On Coyotes episode, we'll let me go. Today's episode brought to you by Stat.Hero, the first of its kind daily sports platform, where it's you versus the house in a head-to-head fantasy matchup. Winner take all. Sign up for free right now at stathero.com/hockey and use the promo code HOCKEY for a 100% deposit match. On this episode, we were going to talk more about grades and reviews about how the Coyotes have been playing 25 games into the season. But then a news dump happened last night that we were like, oh, we need to talk about this because it's pretty big.
Yeah, it's definitely a story. It's something that needs to be addressed. I know PHNX did a live episode last night. There wasn't really necessarily a whole lot of information for that. We still don't have a whole lot of information, but yeah, we gotta talk about it.
We do have to talk about it because the Arizona Coyotes could get kicked out of Glendale sooner than we thought.
Yep.
They have lots of unpaid taxes, and well, the City of Glendale is like, all right, no, this is putting our foot down.
So let's first address that this is all mostly coming from a Katie Strang article on The Athletic. She also broke another story about there being like a lot of just toxic work environment with the Coyotes, I believe, a couple of months ago, which is not unfortunate. There has been a subsequent article written by Craig Morgan for PHNX we may be addressing. But yes, the Coyotes owe more than 1.3 million in unpaid state and city taxes. I honestly don't know if that's too much because that's also like less than what a player makes in a given season. So like I don't know. Anytime we're talking about like the extreme wealthy, which we are in this case, we're talking about the owner of the Coyotes, Mr. Morello, who is a billionaire with a private island. He is the extreme wealthy. Like it's kind of important to keep that in mind. If someone told me that I owed $1 million, I would leave the country and go someplace where they can't find me. Morello is probably going to be able to pay this off today. I believe they've already made a statement saying that they will be paying it off today.
Yeah, which I mean makes sense. I mean they have to pay it off, right?
Yeah.
They have what from this day technically like so they said they're going to do it today. But if they didn't, it'd be what 11 days to pay it off. That's what their ultimatum was, right?
Yes. So it's a bit confusing, kind of reading everything because it does look like we're dealing with systems that are like designed to give people the benefit of the doubt, and this more seems like power play moves between two powerful people. But basically, the business license has been suspended for the Coyotes. They owe approximately 250,000 in unpaid city taxes, which kind of leads me to believe that most of the money is owed to the state, who doesn't seem to care as much. But City of Glendale and Alex Morello are having a pissing contest right now. Have until the 20th, and the first game that they'll be playing in the arena after that is the 23rd. So.
And this doesn't surprise me at all because I've had an unnamed source tell me about Morello, and pretty much like, well, they also have an it's like it's. I mean, it is among the least reliable of actual sources you can get, but there's still. I mean, they still know a decent amount inside, and like, yeah, Morello's that kind of person. He's the kind of person that will just like get in a pissing contest and just to annoy you, like, and just to kind of pay as little money as possible.
Yeah. You really don't get to become a billionaire by doing like things like what most people would consider to be the right way. Like it involves a lot of power plays and just moves like this where you're like, no, we're not going to. And when you have power, you can kind of do that. And it's really frustrating. I do think that like ultimately you're a billionaire. Pay your goddamn taxes. I know you're feuding with the city right now because they canceled the agreement. They've not been a good partner for the Coyotes since I have been covering the team almost a decade ago. Like Glendale is always getting in shenanigans with this team. It's very frustrating. But this is one unequivocally where I'm like, I'm on Glendale's side. Just do this. Stop bringing bad publicity on because every single thing you do is under a microscope right now.
Because every single other hockey fan is now watching this.
Yeah.
They're like, now, Coyotes, they're looking at you, saying like, see, they can't work.
Yeah.
Move them already.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
And it's very frustrating, especially because I mean, let's be honest, I don't think any owner of a NHL franchise pays as much taxes as they should. I am of that opinion that the wealthy people who own franchises should pay more taxes. But I am also of the opinion that if you are owed taxes or if you owe taxes, you should be paying them, especially if you are engaging in negotiations with another city in that state, because that just I could only imagine what the city of Tempe is thinking about this.
Yeah, they're probably also clenching their teeth. They're like, "Is this gonna happen to us?"
Yeah,
Like that's a problem. And the other thing too is like, and this also goes beyond just Morello's assets. It is the Coyotes organization. Obviously, that's now an asset of his, but like the Coyotes organization also has a pool of money.
yeah, yeah. And we have heard like that the team is not doing well financially, which I mean they never have, and the pandemic has certainly made things worse. There was reports of missing bonuses, so I don't doubt for a second that the organization is cash strapped, but the ownership needs to come in and take care of that
Hmm.
because like we are at a very precarious moment right now. I think we talked about in the Houston show, which was what just last week, that like I think things are going fine for the Coyotes right now. I think the process is in place, and I believe them when they say that they're following it. But I also said that if things go wrong, that can change very quickly. And this isn't necessarily something that's going to do that, but it could. Like, this could derail any kind of building in Tempe because, yeah, like you said, are is the Tempe City Council going to be like, is this going to happen to us? Um, I think if they do build an arena, there's some more mechanisms in place to keep that from happening. And I do think Glendale's getting paid, um, hopefully today, so we could just kind of put this behind us. But until that happens, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good to people outside of Arizona, who is the main audience for these kind of articles. And it certainly doesn't look good for people in Arizona who are just tired of dealing with this shit.
Exactly. We still got more to get to on this episode of Locked On Coyotes, though. We'll break more of this down, give you as much information as we can. Talk about what this means. What's going to happen moving forward, all on today's episode of Locked On Coyotes. But first, I want to let you guys know that today's episode brought to you by Stat Hero. No one plays daily fantasy sports to lose. Winning feels so much better, but traditional fantasy sports are a long-term losing proposition because you never know who or what you're up against. Stat Hero is its first of its kind daily fantasy sports platform where it's you versus the house in head-to-head fantasy matchups, winner take all. And the crazy part, Stat Hero shows you their lineups before you play, and you handpick the team that you want face to face, one on one. And this never before seen innovation of a fantasy sports and sports betting hybrid has Stat Hero players clocking odds that are 4 times better. Why? Because you don't have to compete against thousands of experts or unknown. Stat Hero puts you in control of your fate. With Stat Hero, you are in control of the stakes. You decide how much you're going to get or play for, and Stat Hero has no choice but to take it because they're daring you to beat them. Stat Hero head to head is what daily fantasy sports should be. One on one. Sign up for a free account today, right now, at stathero.com/hockey. Use the promo code hockey for a 100% deposit match. Once again, that's stathero.com/hockey. Use the promo code hockey for 100% match. One more time, stathero.com/hockey and the promo code hockey. Terms and conditions may apply.
So I've been hearing a lot about Stance lately, especially with the launch of the new active apparel, and with it holiday season coming up, I'm always looking for new gifts to get people, and I want to get people things that are comfortable and well made, like Stance's socks, shirts, hoodies. Wearing a hoodie right now, not a Stance hoodie, but definitely looking to upgrade. Founded in 2009, Stance Apparel represents a radical reinvention of socks, underwear, and active apparel with a sharp focus on comfort, quality, and creativity. Stance brings an atypical aesthetic along with some of pop culture's hottest collaborations for the ultimate in style and self expression, because everything you wear should be a direct extension of who you are and how you feel. They've got a lot of really cool current collaborations going on. Wu-Tang Clan, Batman, Star Wars. I'm a big fan of Bob Marley and kind of reggae ska music, so I'm always kind of on the lookout for stuff like that. And Stance offers a lot of really cool opportunities for that. Stance believes that the perfect fit means matters more than fitting in, and those who feel good do good. Go see for yourself. Register for an account on stance.com and get 50% off your purchase using the promo code locked on at checkout to apply. Enjoy the color and comfort of life less ordinary with Stance.
Okay, so back here on Locked On Coyotes, Robyn, Leaño, Carl Pavlock. Here on this episode, we are talking the Arizona Coyotes unpaid tax bill. The City of Glendale has given an ultimatum saying that they do not pay by December 20th. They will be locked out of Gila River Arena,
Yep.
so essentially not having a place to play. So, Carl, I'm looking at some of the things that are, based on statements and everything is trying to, gather as much as I can. I'm reading the article from PHNX from Craig Morgan. And here is the statement that was released last night. And then we can talk more about, the statement and, other things of this nature. It says, we have already launched an investigation to determine how this could have happened, and the initial indications are that it appears to be a result of an unfortunate human error. Regardless, we deeply regret the inconvenience this has caused, and will make sure that by tomorrow morning, that's today, the Arizona Coyotes are current on all of our bills and owe no state or local taxes whatsoever. And we will take immediate steps to ensure that nothing like this can ever possibly happen again.
Sure.
So, the first bit, human error. I told you before, Carl. Do I really think this was error? I don't. I.
No.
I. It,
Hey,
I
if anything, you could say it was an error in judgment. I don't
yeah.
think that they expected. Here's the thing: I don't think the Coyotes organization expected the city of Glendale to go to the press, which they appeared to have done. I don't know how Katie kind of worked out the story, if she was aware of it, if she heard rumblings, or if someone like reached out to this from the city to her. Either way, it doesn't matter. Um, I have worked at large corporations, and I do know that there are occasional human errors. Like, we are people, and people make mistakes. And especially if you're not wanting to deal with another person. This happened a lot when I was working insurance shops. Like, if I don't want to deal with someone, like, there's more likely to be errors in that kind of thing because I'm not paying as much attention to it. So sure, benefit of the doubt could be human error. More than likely, I think this is just a continuation of a pissing match between the city of Glendale and Alex Morello. And I don't think anyone is going to see that as being not the case, because this has just been problems that they have been having for a while now.
It has been a problem where they've been for a while now, and and again, it goes back to what we were talking about with like earlier this year. When it comes to back in February when the Katie Strang article came out about the lack of payments, right?
Yeah,
And a lot of other bits to that, like right, like um, he said, oh, this concession people weren't getting their payments. You know, they weren't getting any. No one was getting their bonuses that they were owed, and all that. Um, so it seemed like it was very well by design, but it was very poor judgment.
yeah, and let's throw one more benefit of the doubt in there. COVID's still happening.
Hmm.
I'm sure Alex's businesses have been affected by COVID. Um, he has the casino industry, which is, I think, it's recovering a little bit, but is nowhere near what it used to be.
It's finally recovering. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got some food. I don't know if the listeners have heard, but there have definitely been some labor issues with food sources, which is potentially going to be raising prices for that.
And he's got
So
radio stations which are very low money makers.
yeah, uh, that's more. Yeah, owning a radio station, I think, is more like owning a sports team. It's for vanity and for PR purposes and tax write off more so than anything else. So yeah, I'm sure the Morello group is like, look, there's a lot of things that are happening right now with our business, and we need to think about things that are best for the business. But I don't care about any of that because this is something that you just should be focusing on. Like, this isn't just a payment thing. This isn't an accounting problem. This is a public relations problem. And I'm sure that the city will be paid. The city manager like questioned the solvency of the team, and I don't think that's an issue, especially for the amount of taxes that the city is owed. Like we mentioned that the total bill is 1.3 million. The city is owed 250,000. So I don't think that's a problem. What the problem is the team is getting a lot of like bad PR because of this, and it's affecting people at home too, not just away.
Absolutely. Um, and that's the thing, and like so, obviously, you hope that we can take their word from the Coyotes um, that the bill is paid today, as they said it would be. Heck, I hope that at the time of this, that right while we're recording this, that we can look on Twitter and say that it's already paid.
Yeah,
I don't see anything yet, but the that's our hope because last thing we want is for the Coyotes to be homeless.
yeah. Like locked out of the building by the city because your business license was canceled. That's a bad look. And I think it was brought up by the city manager. Like the NHL wants some sense of stability. They're like organizing games and stuff. Like I'm sure the COVID like wreaking havoc, canceling games in Ottawa, and wasn't there another city that lost a game?
The Islanders.
The Islanders, yeah. Like that's horrible, and that causes a lot of work. When I was with the Globetrotters, I knew like the people who did the scheduling, and it's just like a massive undertaking to organize so many things at once. But this, it's like just I can't even imagine because there's a board of governors meeting or something going on right now. Like if you are one of the other teams, you have to be wondering like Tampa Bay Lightning, they're going to be the first game at Gila River Arena after the deadline of the 20th. Like what is their ownership group thinking about this? Like they're like, are we going to be able to play or what are you guys doing?
Yeah, that's the issue. Because I think everyone was like, I think that people were, had they get a conversation like, um, with with Gary Bettman about this, right?
Yeah.
There had to have been a conversation with Gary Bettman about this, and what some of the deciding factors is, and yeah, the December 20th is like right before the holiday break. I think the Coyotes had like what one home game right after that, like
Yes,
before the break. So like,
they play the Kings on the 27th.
oh, I was talking about because they play the Lightning too on the twenty
Oh,
third.
yeah, Lightning on the 23rd, and then Kings on the 27th.
So like, where like was there a at any point a discussion with them just be like in like as a potential fallback, like just like, oh look, there could very well be a situation where it's not in Glendale.
I'm not sure about that. The Morgan article does detail kind of the conversations that Mr. Phelps with the city had with Bettman. Apparently, Gary was on a plane. Um, it was a short conversation, and per Phelps, Bettman thanked him and said, "This isn't very good news," which is understatement of the decade.
Oh man, um, I'm sure once Bettman landed, he probably gave um both Morello and Javier Gutierrez an earful.
Absolutely. I can only imagine because when a city employee is calling Gary Bettman saying that one of his franchises may be locked out of their building, heads are gonna roll because that is some craziness. Like that's like if you ever worked in a large corporation and you heard about someone emailing the CEO, like just out of nowhere, and that person immediately getting fired, that's the kind of heads that roll. Like you just can't do that. And I don't blame Mr. Phelps for doing it. You can't be the Coyotes allowing that to happen. The management is responsible.
And that's and that I was trying to find a good equivalent to that. Like, yeah, well, I guess it is like what you were saying. Something happening in a business and going above a manager's head right straight to the CEO, and like because you know the highest level person on an organization can take care of it because there's like they know what's up.
Yeah. And honestly, like I just feel like if a problem even gets to Gary Bettman, like that's not good. Like you don't want the commissioner to have to step in. And that's true for the city and that's true for the Coyotes. So yeah, Morello and Gutierrez probably got an earful uh, late last night, and they're probably like, What are you doing? Why do you think this was a good idea?"
Yeah. So we got to take more about this though. We got to talk all about the future for the Arizona Coyotes. What's going to be coming up after all that. So that will be coming up in just a moment. But just first, a quick word from our sponsors.
Got beard? Get primal. You heard me. Got beard? Get primal. If you or someone you care about has a beard, it needs to get primal. Maybe you're that guy who has never considered the benefits of treating your beard with product. Primal Origin oils will stop the itch and make your beard look healthy and groomed. The products are free from harmful synthetic ingredients and with low impact on the planet. Primal Origin oils makes balms, oils, and whipped butter that are renowned as the best feel of beard products available. All products are fair trade certified and handcrafted in the United States. The combo kits also make great holiday gifts, so if you're shopping for yourself, you'll be glad that you did. Now, I do not currently have a beard right now, but in the past, I've had it and I have friends with beards, and I'm always talking to people, especially one of my good friends, my old roommate Paul, really long beard. I'm always talking to him. He's always likened to using products just to make sure that it looks nice. And we've talked about Primal before because I do these kind of ads. And I know that every company claims to be the best, but Primal Origin Oils challenges you to compare their ingredients and the beard feel to other products you've experienced. We promise that you'll see and feel the difference. Remember the code locked on to get 20% off your primaloriginoils.com order. That's promo code locked on for 20% off.
And let me let you guys know that BetOnline has you covered for all season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. as football season continues to march to the playoffs. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all sports action this season. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website. Sign up today for and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code Locked On to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right down to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, let's go finish things up here, Carl, on
Okay.
this episode of Lockdown Coyotes. We already talked pretty extensively about this and everything about that. But again, the city did say they will pay today.
Or
The team said that they would pay today to the
yeah,
city, which we're hoping is the case.
yeah.
That way, we can put this behind us.
First things first, we definitely are going to want to see like a receipt or like confirmation of this payment, because if the Coyotes just come out and say, "Yeah, we paid," and the city is like, "No, you didn't," that will be the worst thing that could happen. Like
Oh
we
yeah,
need both sides to be like, "Yes, this issue has been taken care of."
that's what I mean. That's what you hope, right? I mean, if like, do you think they could like? I don't think that I don't think anybody could be that stupid just to say that they made the payment when there was no payment made.
Uh, I will tell you that my brother used to have what he thought was a very clever scheme where he would deposit fake or like envelopes full of nothing into ATMs and say that he deposited money, and they quickly found out. So I'm not going to say that no one is that stupid, because people are definitely that stupid. I think it's more of a situation where is the Morello organization that arrogant to assume that they could get away with that and that people aren't going to check.
That's true. Um, yeah, I don't think that will be the case. We're hoping that's not the case because
Yeah,
last thing we want is for the Arizona Coyotes to get locked out.
yeah. Last thing we want as media, last thing that fans want, last thing that anyone wants, because honestly, this looks bad on the whole NHL.
It looks bad on the whole NHL. Looks bad on the Arizona Coyotes, especially if you think about it. The with the all the other fans outside of the state of Arizona wanting the team to relocate because they're obviously saying, "Oh, it doesn't work." Let's be real here. It's this has never worked in Glendale.
Yeah,
There's always been issues, and again, like you said at the beginning of this episode, you're not blaming the city of Glendale for doing this,
absolutely not.
but it's not just a city problem; it's just a team problem in Glendale.
Yeah. It's a, it's kind of like I had a roommate for 3 or 4 years. And by the end of our time living together, we knew that we weren't going to be living together at the next place. We both kind of agreed on that. And we were fighting a lot more, and it led to a lot more petty shit. And I think that this is just that. I think the Coyotes are being really petty and not paying their taxes. And I think the city of Glendale is being a little bit petty in releasing that, especially for, like I said, a minor amount compared to the state taxes. Um, but like that kind of situation, you're just like, I don't care who's right or wrong, just separate opposite sides of the state or metropolitan area in this
Yep,
example.
on the other side of the valley, just from the West Valley to the East Valley, City of Tempe has got obviously that proposal still in hand.
Yeah. And I do think like if they break ground on like an arena, like that's locked in. I don't know how big of an example it would be, but we have seen precedent for a city like suing a sports team for relocating and leaving them with a arena. Like I do kind of wonder what would happen if the Coyotes decide to relocate after that. Because for right now, like I do believe them. They're doing the right things to have an arena in Tempe. I will
You're
just
doing the
stand there.
right things to make sure that this team stays in the state of Arizona.
Yep. And sure, like I don't think that they're not paying their taxes for financial reasons, although I'm sure that's part of it because, like I said, COVID's going on, and these are business people, and they will always depend on their business first and always go to that. I was trying to think of the best way to diplomatically say that, but I don't know. It's frustrating. Either way, I think we're gonna see an actual interview from Morello soon because this is one of those things that needs to be addressed. And I think we're gonna see a change in PR for the Coyotes because this is absolute garbage. They need to be doing better, like public relations wise, because this is not it.
Yeah, they definitely need to be doing a better job. One last thing, worst case scenario. If they decide they're that arrogant, fake it, and then don't make the payment by the 20th, they get locked out. Temporary spots because you can't just go ahead and put ice down at the Coliseum and call it a day.
No,
Um, you got to find an actual spot. Um, and to be honest, I don't think at the time that temporary spot until they figure things out would be in the state of Arizona. It'd be at another NHL arena somewhere else.
I mean, honestly, yeah, probably, because there's been a lot of talk about doing the old Veterans Memorial Coliseum. I don't think that that could be done right away. Um, I, I think that they would potentially cancel some of the games or just postpone them. There would definitely potentially be legal battles that they could fight. I don't think they want to do that now. They could potentially get like a stay. I don't know if a judge would do that. I'm not a lawyer. Um, Either if it gets to that point, if they are that arrogant, I honestly don't think the franchise has a long term history in Arizona. If you are going with that move, I don't think the commissioner of the NHL is going to be like, I want you to continue fighting this fight.
Okay, then let's get to that. Actually, let's get to
Sure.
that because like we're saying that the NHL won't let it get to December 20th without a payment.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly would not be surprised if if the Coyotes don't make a payment today, the NHL makes a payment because as we said, this isn't just about the Coyotes. This is about the entire league, and freaking the Tampa Bay Lightning may make a payment just so they know where they're going to be dropping their plane on the 27th
Yeah, and then obviously,
or
there's a
23rd.
there's a little saying there. It's like, all right, we're paying this for you, but like I mean, obviously, it's like you're just not off the hook. Like you're
Yeah,
like you get to play there, but you still got to pay us.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I really think that something is going to happen in the week to make this temporarily go away. But there are deep problems with the Coyotes that need to be addressed, and I just hope that they're addressed in the coming weeks.
Yeah, we hope they're addressed in the coming weeks. We hope in sooner rather than later that we can find out about Tempe.
Yep. Hopefully, because it'd be really nice if they just get that proposal approved. I know it takes time to review everything, but
We're
fans need some
approaching
good news.
we're approaching the end of 2021. We could use some good news.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyways, though, that is going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Coyotes. I know you guys were looking forward to another review episode of 25 games into the season, but when news hits, we got to talk about it, and we appreciate you going through this. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to go ahead and talk to us about it. Thanks for listening to today's episode, though. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave a review, like, comment, and subscribe if you get to already. We're available wherever you get your podcast, including on YouTube. Also, don't forget to interact with us on social media. We're Facebook, facebook.com/LockedOnCoyotes, on Twitter at LO_Coyotes. I'm personally at Robyn_Leaño, but it's Robyn with a Y_LEANO. Carl Pavlock is at Carl Pavlock FFH. Ask us a question you might have, we can answer right back, or on a future episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. Thanks again, everyone, for listening to today's episode. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. Hope you guys are staying healthy. And don't forget to howl on.